Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit the notification bell. And please do make sure you check out everyone's respective channels and Twitters in the description. We have the lovely Lucy Chappell with us as well, been on the channel quite some time ago now. I think you did a bit with writing the Gary Kellys. And yeah, she watches regularly. So I asked her if she'd come on and she was up for it. Lucy, how are you doing? All right?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on.
All right, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. Rocco, how are you, mate? I know your voice is pretty hoarse. Were you one of them singing for Nonto at the ground?
I think this is all Bamford's fault that I can't talk today.
I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it. I mean, I don't help myself by making content about it, but yeah, like can't get it out of my head. Yeah, Kate, it was rough, wasn't it?
Yeah, like seriously, I couldn't. Well, I mean, I couldn't get to sleep last night because of it, and I was stressing in bed last night, and then I woke up about 4, and then it was just like the first thing. I just can't get over it. I can't get over the fact, and I know I'll come back to this, and I know you'll laugh, but 70 grand a week, and he can't even knock it in the bloody side of the net.
I know.
What's he getting paid for? What is he getting paid for?
Do you know what? People are going to hate me. People are going to hate me, but I thought he did all right yesterday. But no, I'm not. I'm not excusing it. I know. Because
I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah. There's no other options either. So it comes back to, well, there is actually. There is. We'll talk about it.
There is.
Right? Yeah. Yes, there is. We're going to talk about it. First of all, just to get the, I guess, gauge of the room. Folks, there should be more people arriving. They're just a little bit late, but I wanted to start for those that are wondering. I just wanted to gauge, I guess, the general opinion with regards to relegation now. Obviously, idea marked 5 points minimum from Fulham, Leicester and Bournemouth. We're not going to get that now. It's impossible for us to get that. We've only got 1 point. Rocco, is last night that big of a hit that it could send us down, basically?
Yeah, I think so. I think we needed to win that. I still think 34 might be enough points, but you know that's cutting it fine, obviously. But where do you get the next win? You know, we're just hoping for a surprise, really. And at the end of the day, football does surprise you. You know, there's no real point sitting here saying, oh, you know, trying to pick where you're going to get results and where you're not. Yeah. You know, we could just turn up one day, or just you know, something happens, an early red card. You know, the Brentford game last season, for example. You know, that was crazy. So it can happen. It can still happen. But we look probably the worst team in the league at the moment. And I've thought that a few times this season, and then, you know, we get a good win and I'm bouncing off the walls again. But yeah, it's just painful to watch at the moment. We just can't play football. It's just shockingly bad, really.
Yeah.
Just clueless.
It's bleak. It is. It's very, very bleak. So based on what Rocco said, I think we beat Man City in 2 weeks' time. Then maybe.
I
know. Yeah. Actually, I was talking to my friend who I did go to the games with. He's still. Well, I've still got to see it. Anyway, I was talking to my friend Sean, and he said that like today, like where are the wins coming from, Joe? And I look at Bournemouth. I don't think, and then I think, oh bloody hell, we've got City and Newcastle. Like what? Like literally, the only way we stay up for me at this point is if there's 3 worse teams than us. And that, you know, Everton play Newcastle tomorrow. We've just got to hope and pray that they continue to lose, because if they start picking up wins, I think that might be us. Lucy, do you agree? Was it that big of a result yesterday? To you know, it could. Yeah, Bamford's miss for me could end up being the thing that sends us down.
Yeah, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I think I looked like after Liverpool and Crystal Palace, and I think we've still got a good chance if we pick up the points at Fulham and Leicester, and we've not done it. And I don't know. I couldn't give you an answer whether I think we're going to stay up or go down. I think again we're relying on other teams, and I just couldn't. I could not give you an answer right now.
No.
I say that we need to go win the Bournemouth game, but is that still going to be enough? I just don't know. I really don't know.
I know, and there's a case of like, I don't want to pin all my, so like I said, we don't get beat. If we don't get 3 points against Leicester, we're done. And then we didn't get 3 points, and I'm like, I don't want to admit that we're done yet. Like, there's still a chance. So then I'm like, Bournemouth, we must win. But what if we don't win that? Then what? Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of my stream, I'm going to people, it's as you were. There's still 4 teams below us. Don't worry about it. But like, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's massively out of our hands, Kate. And it is literally just hoping and praying that Forest beat Brighton, that Newcastle beat, Everton, and we're one more game, done. So we've only then got 4. Do you know what I mean? It's getting to that territory, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, looking for kind of ways that we could possibly pick up points, it's getting to the point where the games that we haven't won, the games that we should have won, we haven't. So there's no points there. It literally is relying on teams like Everton and Forest to crash and burn, really, and hope that Leicester continue to not get any points as well. Because what was it? Even Jamie Vardy had a goal drought until he came on against us yesterday, didn't he? Do you know what I mean?
I know. Max, you're normally positive, mate. Are you banging the positive drum, or trying to at least?
You took the words out of my mouth with what you said before. Sorry, I don't know what was happening.
Raining inside there for a second. I don't know what happened then.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, that's worrying. I echo what you said. When I was starting to watch the game, I said, like, look, if we don't get a win, we're down. And then at the end of the game, I'm thinking, oh, we've still got a chance. Like, it's just... it shouldn't work like that, but in my head, I'm like, it's not over till it's over. And even if we lose against Bournemouth, I'll still be thinking it's not over till it's over. At the moment, we're still not in the relegation zone. The football has been bad, but I think it was definitely an improvement on the Fulham game yesterday. I think our midfield was better. I think McKennie was actually trying, which helped. A couple of times he got the ball and put it forward into forward areas, which I thought, bloody hell, he's actually trying to go forward here, and he made a few tackles, and I'm thinking, right, well, that's what we want from you. Do that a bit more. But it's the consistency that's killing us of some of these players. And then you saw Cooper had some really good tackles in there, like the one where Harvey Barnes went through, and he was an excellent tackle coming back in. But then it's like 5 minutes later, he'll do a terrible pass straight to one of their players and put them on the attack, and you're like consistency is killing us of the players' performances.
Yeah, I agree. Just before we continue, I've almost forgot there. Obviously, regular sponsor of the channel, Football Prizes. I did just want to give you all a heads up. This is finishing in 15 minutes, folks, and there's the opportunity to win a signed Sinistera shirt. I mean, based on where we're going, you might choose to get Zinchenko or Joe Linton or something instead, but it's £9.95 a ticket, folks. There's 29 tickets. There is still 6 available, okay? Only 23 sold, so if they don't all sell out, you've got a better chance of winning, okay? But just how time left? 7:30 it finishes, yeah. I think it's 7:30, yeah. So if you want to get involved, check that out, okay? Luis Sinistera signed shirt. As I've said, £9.95 a ticket, and there is only 6 available, so get involved if you aren't already, because I know you massively support Bill. He is a Leeds fan as well, so make sure you check that out. Right, let's talk about the game itself. No, actually, I want to talk about Nonto. I think we should start there because it's insane. Free Willy is what's going around there at the minute. You're seeing all sorts of images on social media, and rightly so, because I was thinking about it earlier, and I put a tweet out to this effect. It's madness to think, even if Rutter's not ready, but I just want to put him in this as well. It's madness to think that arguably your best player, okay, Sinistera, Adams, etc., but arguably your best player in Willy Nonto and your record signing in Rutter are not given any minutes in a game that is a relegation 6-pointer and one really that you need to go and win. Like you need to, like, why are we not using him, Kate? I know you're very, very angry about this. I know you're not Javi's biggest fan. What's going on there?
Do you know what though, Joe? I was like you. Like I was, as soon as Javi came in, I thought he was a breath of fresh air, and I thought, there was so many positives. He got us more stability, all the rest of it. But it seems to me now that it's got to the point where he's being so cagey in press conferences. He's not actually like. He's not telling us what's going on with Nonto. And I think as fans, we deserve to hear something. We deserve an explanation. He keeps fobbing off questions at the presser, and it's not good enough, is it? I mean, why he was replaced for Sinister, why he wasn't replaced for Sinistera yesterday, I just do not know. It doesn't make sense. So it's either personal or there's a really good reason, and I think we need to know because it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, Chris, I want to come to you because I know you're very against Javi at this point. But yeah, the reluctance to play Nonto. Do you know what? This might seem wild, right, people? And I want to get your opinion on it because I've seen in the press conference where he'd said, I've just got it in front of me now. I have to do what's best for the team. I'm the one that makes decisions. And he says it's nothing special about one player. And I felt a little bit like, is it his ego? Is it his ego potentially preventing him from playing Nonto because he's been told to play him? But then also in my mind, I'm going, has Radrazani already sold him to Juve and he's saying you do not play Willie Nonto? Like, listen, until he tells us, like Kate says, we'll never know. But Chris, why aren't he playing him, bro? Yesterday, like Kate said, for me, this is nothing against Chris Somerville because I think he's played well of late. But why are you not bringing on Nonto, who is a left-sided winger, for Sinistera? Why? Because I was thinking, he's going to switch Harrison out and play. But he didn't even do that. He put a right winger at left wing when you've got arguably, like Sinistera, one of our most clutch players who will come up with clutch moments. And we need a goal. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's, of the few people who follow me on Twitter will know my feelings loud and clear last night on what went on and the fact we didn't use Nonto and Rutter and Forshaw in that second half. It's a joke, mate. I was clear. I want him gone. For me, at the minute, with how I feel, he's the worst manager we've had in the last 20 years, and that is some list to be top of right now. It really is. That is an incredible achievement in what's he had, 6 games or something, and he's top of my shit list already. Well done, Javi. That's something special. But for not using Nonto, mate, it's just ridiculous.
Criminal.
Yeah.
I can't, like you say, unless there's something going on in the background and it's Rads hanging on to the coffers again and saying, don't play him, otherwise I've got to spend another 50p, or there's something happened between the two. And if it is something that's happened between like Javi and Nonto, then he's got to get over himself and play the kid, because he's our best chance of our best chance of staying up, because it's done. It's absolutely
you're
done.
absolutely right. And he knew when he brought him on. Sorry.
And you know what? It's all right, Kate. Go on.
No, I was just going to say he knew when he brought him on against Fulham and when he's brought him on for 10 minutes in the end of various other games, he knows that he's not going to have an impact because he's coming on cold. He's not going to have an impact. He's not going to make the changes, have the opportunity to make the changes to the game. And it's so upsetting. It really pisses me off. Can't even tell you.
You know what? And at the end of the game, if I thought I couldn't have been angrier, and as I said in the last final word, I've not even been angry recently. I've just been like, I was fuming last night. And then he comes out with that in the press conference. And I understand it might be a little bit lost in translation about...
potentially.
However, every team has a special player in it, or pretty much every team. Even City, who are reffed with stars, have KDB and Haaland. Palace have players like Eze and stuff like that. Villa have, whoever it may be, turns up on the day of Buendia or something like that. You have to have special players within a team of footballers to make something happen. So it's just a nonsense, mate. And he's just Jesse Marsh with a different accent in his post-match pressers now. He's horrendous, and the stuff he says is diabolical. And if it was Jesse Marsh saying it in an American accent, he'd be getting absolute rockets for it. So I've got no time for him. I've got no time for the club. I've got zero time for 99% of the players. I'm absolutely fried with a lot of them. Thanks for coming. You've been a right laugh. Fucking bore off, Leeds.
I get it, mate. I get it. I do.
I love it.
I get it, man. I get it. Rock, obviously, you were at the ground last night and there was audible chants for him. I even seen, and this came across in the TV, I don't know if it was what I seen, but when he went to warm up after Cine had gone down the second time, he was being applauded. Like the crowd were like going, "Hey!" And I was thinking, what even? And then I come back to that thing of that ego thing. Is it Javis saying, Rocco, no, you're not telling me who I'm bringing on? I just don't understand why he did not make that change for Somerville. And again, I'll reiterate, nothing against Somerville, but Nonto was the change you make there.
Yeah, we've seen it plenty of times in the past with managers when the fans start specifically calling for someone. I remember Yeboah and George Graham, like that was mental. We scored 28 goals all season and Yeboah couldn't get a kick. Like literally, it must have been because the fans were chanting for him. I mean, yeah, I wasn't happy. I mean, you know, you want to see Gnonto, who's one of our best players. But I must say, like, putting myself in Javi's head, like, we did have, you know, we had Bamford leading the line, who's the only person that can do it. Rodrigo was doing well. The wingers were playing quite well. So, you know, I don't think it was, you know, I can sort of see where he was coming from on that occasion, but yeah, I don't really want to defend him because I'm not happy with him. I left the ground like Chris. I was thinking, well, let's just sack him, you know, let's get someone else in. But then this morning I woke up a bit more, I don't know, I just felt a bit differently, and I think I'm so down on the players that I ended up thinking, well, maybe Javi did quite well to nearly get a win, you know, considering how shit the players are at the moment. My head's all over the place. I go from one thing to the next. But just play Nonto. Just give him a start.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. I think, you know, and I've seen it. I watch a lot of fan content. I've seen many say sack him. But for me, and I know there's people on here, but feels almost pointless to do that now with 5 games to go. It genuinely is pointless. I don't think any. Yeah, no one comes in and takes it, right, Max?
It took us. How long did it take us to get a manager last time?
Exactly. Yeah,
the season will be over, and we were like, right, new manager's announced on the final day, but it won't be taken over until next.
Give it Scoobs.
Well, that's the thing as well.
Couldn't do worse job.
Well, the thing is, Scabala's proved that it's not his fault. He's not got the experience, but he's proved that he's not good enough to do it either. So it's not as if we can sack him and put it under the hands of.
Can I ask a question here, right? You know the answer's going to be from me, right? But I've seen a lot of people say today they would rather Jesse have stayed. Now, I think people might have had leave of the senses and it's very, you know, fresh in the mind. But listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Does anyone go along with that sentiment here? And I want to hear your reasons as to why.
No. Why would we want him back? No, I don't want either of them. Neither of them.
No, I get that. Yeah.
Employed by this football club. Neither of them should ever have been employed by. Neither of them were. Obviously, Javi's a panic signing anyway. We know that because we couldn't get any of the 53 managers we had on the hit list. How anyone identified Marsh as the natural successor to the football played under Bielsa pickles my brain completely. It's God, no. I'd genuinely rather the tea lady had the job now.
Yeah. I'll do it.
You'd have to knock off the Merlot though, so you know what I mean. You couldn't be rocking.
I could do that if it meant me staying up. I'd do it.
Fair, Bielsa loved a bottle of wine, didn't he?
Bielsa likes a glass of red.
I was going to say,
maybe Javi needs some brave juice before kickoff, so he can stop being such a coward on the touchline and make some decisions.
Yeah. Like that was one of the most frustrating things for me is like hearing him say, you know, is it a good point? I don't know yet, but you know, we should have got all 3 with the way we played. But for me, do you know that saying Jesse when he goes, they're scared. I almost feel like Javi's scared. He got in front, Lucy, and it was a case of, I can't lose this. So I'm going to, because I tell you what it reminds me of, and this is just mad because I remember being at the ground. Darko Milanic hadn't won a game, and I think Steve Morrison, I think it might have been Charlton, we were 1-0 up, and at half-time, he just took off all the attackers, and he was like desperate for a win, and we ended up losing or drawing the game, and that's what it feels like at this minute. It's like a case of he's got in front and thought, I cannot afford to lose this, so now I'll go all out defence, but for me, they were there for us to go and get a second. They were there, and if we get a second, Luce, we win the game. I think, anyway.
Yeah. I think we, like always, we just go into panic mode. The midfield disappeared when the likes of Coops and Cock got hold of the ball. They were in acres of space, but still lump it upfield, and we're chasing it again, sort of thing. And it's the Aronson sub I still can't get my head around. I can understand him coming on and causing a bit of chaos, but he come on, first 20 seconds, he loses the ball when in our half. I'm just like, bring Forshaw on, just like strengthen that core midfield up and just play the ball nice. Like you say, we just let them play. Again, our own mistakes, and we're just like, making them look good. And it was just like you say, they were there for the taking, like Fulham were last weekend.
Yeah. It's the same. It's what you were talking about before about the fact that we were playing two up front, and that seemed to pin them back a little bit. And it seemed to work well playing two up front. So it was good from the start, but then. I said Rodrigo's going to come off because he's on a yellow card and we don't want to lose him. And so you've got a £35 million record signing striker on the bench. So why would you not bring Rutter on for Rodrigo? Why would you not have him as the player who's actually going to put himself about? He's bigger, he's more physical, he's taller, he's going to lose the ball less than Aronson, he's going to fall on the floor less than Aronson. Why wouldn't you bring on somebody who's also going to keep up the pressure? And when you've paid £35 million for him, it's like, choose him. It can't be worse than bringing on Aronson.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, at the time, though, I understood the Aronson one, me personally, because we're 1-0 up, and I'm thinking, he's going to do what Rodrigo did, but be able to, maintain that. But then again, you do lose any sort of creative spark as well in that respect. There was one moment when he got in the box and then he gets dispossessed a little bit too easily. But yeah, to then not make any changes, and then for Javi to say afterwards, we then only have one moment to make a change, and I didn't know how I could change it to make sure we were better in attack. And I'm thinking, but you're a football manager, man. That's your job. Like, go out and win the game. You know what I mean? Or get us, because look, when Vardy scored that second, like, I know obviously it's offside, but I just thought that this is it. But that's what Dean Smith did. Dean Smith went, right, Daka, Vardy, made these changes that went and got them back into the game. And our manager just kept doing the same fecking things.
He always does, Joe. He's done it for the last 3 matches. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a football genius to know that there should have been a change after half time.
I know. It's really, really frustrating. Does anyone think he's going to play Nonto or give Rutter a chance? Like, because even normally I side with the manager, because whoever it is, really, because I'm sort of like saying, no, I understand it. They see more than what we do, but you've got to just give them a chance at this stage. To not play Rutter as well when you need a goal, I don't know. It seems a bit mad to me. Does anyone think he'll change it? 2
goals for Hoffenheim, Rutter.
The thing is, though, Sinisterra, he was causing them problems until he came off. He was constantly causing them problems. Logically, I know we're not using logic because it's heavy substitutions, but logically, you look at the bench and you go, okay, who's the player who can do a similar sort of thing to what Sinisterra can do? There's only one player on that bench who can do a similar sort of job and twist people inside out, and that's Willie Nonto. So you think, right, perfect. It's a like-for-like substitution. You can do the same sort of things. You can turn people inside out, bring him on, and then Somerville, I rate Somerville, but I don't think it was the right substitution to make. Somerville was actually okay. He tracked back a little bit more and helped out, and he did actually a lot of defensive work, which people have complained about in the past. But Nonto is the one, and you want to go forward and you want to score an extra goal for security, and we just didn't try. after that point. We didn't try to score a second goal. So it's like, well, what are you doing? You just letting us wait for a goal to go in, because that's what relegation teams do. They go a goal in ahead and then they sit back further and further and further until they concede, and then they go, shit, we've made defensive substitutions, we've done this, we've done that, now we can't get back into the game. And it's you could see it happening from the moment we scored.
Yeah.
He wanted to play anybody else but Nonto yesterday, didn't he? He was never going to bring him.
That's what it feels like almost, Kate, that he's like saying you're not like, for him to come out and say that, like, not one player's special, and then the week before he's saying everyone's always better when they're not playing. But it's like, no, we have factual evidence that Nonto is good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's good enough for the Italian.
Yeah, I mean, well, exactly. And under Jesse, we were willing on to FC, more or less. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if we haven't got, facts to back it up. Let's talk about the other striker in the team, obviously, Patrick Bamford. People don't want to hear it, but I think he was okay. And like Rocco said earlier, ultimately, he's the only player in our squad that can do what he does. I'd go with Rodrigo and Bamford again in the next game and just hope that Rodrigo can give us 90 minutes, because I thought he was good. Can I just say as well, just before we go any further, right? Like, what's with all the thirsty comments? There is women on the fucking stream. You need to get a grip of yourself. Go out and touch grass or go have a fucking ham shank, right? Like, it's embarrassing people just because they're from their opposite sex. Do you know how that would make them feel when they're seeing the comments, when they're trying to talk about football? Pack it in and go have a cold shower. It's embarrassing. Anyways, right? I'll come back to it. So Bamford, obviously, I don't know where I was now. I'm just pissed off. I do apologise. Bamford, that miss, how bad is it? Anyone else for me in the squad, okay? Anyone else for me in that squad, Ayling, whoever it is, scores that goal, you know? And Bamford's fuffed his lines, and for me, could arguably, cost us. How bad's the miss? Talk to me. Someone talk to me about how bad that miss is.
It's the one time he's tried to use his right foot, isn't it? And watch since the stream's been started, it's been on my Twitter, the GIF, just replaying it over and over again. And just looking at it every now and again, just thinking, how on earth? And do you know what? He probably would have been better off going with his left. If he'd have just let it drop past his right foot onto his left, and you could have just rolled it in the bottom corner. And I can't believe that he missed that. And I tweeted out earlier that literally could be the difference between us staying up and going down. That one moment there cost us 2 points. And people are saying, oh, well, it's a combination of the managerial decisions and stuff. Yes, it is. We could have won the game with better managerial decisions as well. But what actually happened in the game, football's about moments, and Bamford missed an absolute sitter there, and it could be the difference between us staying up. It's horrendous.
Yeah, it's bad. Hey, Rocco, you were going to say something.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even need to kick it, You literally just, raise your leg.
Just throw your body at it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just let the ball hit you and it goes in. Just put your foot there. And it's not like, I mean, I don't think it was coming in quick. The flick on was from, beyond the near post. There was no one in his way. There wasn't a defender jumping to distract him. It's just what we see from Bamford all the time. When he's got a gaping goal in front of him and no goalkeeper, like we've seen it in the Championship time and time again, where he ends up trying to put it back across the goal and straight at the keeper, or just does something weird, and he just freezes. And yeah, that is what he is. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think he played well yesterday. I thought I was getting. This is the reason I've lost my voice, is because him not jumping for headers, like not challenging defenders time and time again, just letting the ball just loop and not even looking interested to win the ball. And it's just setting that tone. I think I said it last week. You've got to challenge the defender, otherwise he knows he's in an easy game. And he just wasn't willing to do that. And towards the end, he did start jumping for a few, and he was winning balls. Like if he tried to win them, he'd win them. So yeah, really frustrating. I know he's the only one that can do it, but he wasn't doing it last night even. So yeah, I wasn't happy.
You were happy. I thought he did all right, Rocco. But the miss is just. Do you know what though? I was talking to my friend about it. I almost feel, people probably will disagree, but I almost feel sorry for Pat, because I can imagine he didn't sleep a wink last night. You know, like imagine what I know how it's made me feel. You know, like Max said, I'm watching it constantly. I'm thinking about it before I go to bed, and I'm waking up and thinking about it. So imagine being the guy that was. I know, Kate, you totally disagree with me, don't you? You can't stand them.
No. Look, can I just say, I thought he played all right at points. There was some good hold-up play yesterday, which, of course, you know, that's what he's amazing at. That's why we've got him. But, you know, no, I don't feel sorry for him, because when it mattered, he didn't come up with the goods. And you're absolutely right, that could cost us. Like, lost us 2 points, as Max said. And he will feel bad, but he should do. But what's he going to do about it? That chance is gone. I can't see him. It's not the only chance he's missed, is it? Yeah, it's probably the most sort of prolific chance he's missed recently. But, you know, I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for us to watch it, and that, you know, we're going to go and watch Championship football next year.
A lot of people in the chat saying it was offside. It wasn't offside.
It wasn't offside.
Just want to say this. It wasn't offside.
Yeah.
I've looked at the replay so many times.
I think Castagna's playing him on. Yeah, it's
good
not.
Yeah, there's one player in front of the keeper playing Bamford on, and everybody else is beyond that. But that one player is playing him onside.
Yeah. Robert says you see a different game when you're there. No, I get that. You see different things, 100%. But yeah, even Javi tried to like back him, didn't he, by saying, I think it was offside. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever makes you sleep at night. Listen, I know Michael on the Square Ball said, like, oh, everyone's saying it's offside and I don't want to watch it, so I'm just going to tell myself that it was offside. You know what I mean? Because everyone deals with things differently. That's all I've seen all day is offside, and I realised that that's people's ways of dealing with it, and it's fine. But he's massively onside, and he's got to bloody score, and he hasn't. And if we go down by 2 points, then, you know, people said to me yesterday, oh, it's not him, it's the whole season. No, I get that, but ultimately, you know,
that was the moment that mattered, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He should.
Because if he scores it, we win. And then we're all like, we're staying up.
He shouldn't be on the pitch at that point. He shouldn't be on the pitch at that point. He should have been one of the players pulled off when the subs should have been made. And it should be Nonto or Ruta in that position. And I'm telling you now, if it was Manan stood at the back post where he was stood, she'd have took a touch and knocked it in the bottom corner. He could have taken a touch. He had that much time. He could have let it hit his shin, stop for a cup of tea, have a wave at the fans, and knock the ball in. But instead, he swings an absolute sandwich of a right leg at it.
Man. Brutal, isn't it?
Knocks some poor bloke out in the third row after a couple of bounces. And he's a Premier League striker. He was in the England squad 18 months ago or so, whatever it was. And he's missing that. Woe betide me. And then Javi tries to like cover for him in the.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pathetic. He is. Do you know? I think he's bring Big Sam in.
God, man!
I'd rather have him than this. I'd rather have him than Javi.
Get right back in.
That's brilliant.
No,
that is brilliant. I tell you what, who I do want to talk about, actually, because obviously we've seen Weston McKennie has come out, and there was the Twitter space that I was heavily involved in for a period of time, actually, with 29, McKennie's mate. And it's clear he's very close to McKennie, because McKennie hasn't come out in his Instagram status and said, oh, I don't even know this kid. He's basically saying Fred's a try to defend you. That's all it is. And I sort of understand that, but I don't think we'll be hearing from 29 in that respect again. But McKennie sort of answered a little bit of them critics last night, because I thought he had one of his better games for me. The pass in the build-up to the goal was really nice as well. And I thought he was good last night. What's everyone's thoughts on that? Good performance?
I think he was a lot better than he has been.
Yeah.
Like you say, that reverse pass that he put in for Harrison to then cut inside was really good. And the one earlier on, he looked up early, got his head up, played a ball over the top in behind, and Harrison nearly got on the end of it. And it's like, just that's all we want from him. Just pick the ball up and spray it forward a little bit. Just actually try and have some progressive passes. Just do the simple things right as well, Forshaw style. Just keep the ball, play it simple. And then when you do need to get us out of danger, you're the one who's supposed to drag us up the pitch a little bit. He's physical. He should be bullying opposition midfielders. Everybody calling him fat and stuff, which I think is uncalled for because he's not fat. He's a professional footballer. Like, he's not fat, is he? He's just a bit stockier than a normal footballer. But if he was like Aronson, then he'd probably be on the floor every 2 seconds. So he is a big footballer, but he should use that to his advantage, knocking other midfielders around and being a little bit more physical in there. But I do think it was a definite improvement. Not what we thought we were signing still, but a definite improvement.
Yeah, for sure. What about his partner? This is the frustrating thing for me as well. We can't have both midfielders playing well at once, it would seem, because Rocker yesterday, I thought was...
Rocco would have been better.
Yeah, probably. He was abysmal yesterday, weren't he? I mean, that he dropped in between the centre-backs at one point and got it off one of them. And there was a simple 5-yard pass onto McKennie and he fluffed it. And I'm like, what is going on here? I thought he was brutal yesterday.
Yeah, and he was to blame for the goal as well. Like there was other mistakes afterwards, but from the throw-in and the flick on, he's just lost his man. He's left the midfielder. The guy that sprinted forward was Rocker's man, and he's just completely switched off. And that has happened all season. You know, players are arriving late in our box completely free, and it's always Rocker that's trudging behind him. He's not good enough, and he's not good enough on the ball either. He just goes around fouling people at the moment to try and make himself look a bit combative, but he's just subpar. It's a bad signing. Maybe he'd be better in a 3. I think McKennie would be better in a 3 as well. So, you know, maybe they're not being helped by the system, but they're just not good enough. I think that's where the majority of our problems have come from. The defense is always stretched. The defense is poor, but they're always stretched as well. So, I was fuming.
Yeah. Anyone else on Rocco?
Yeah, it's just bad, isn't it? Like, so for the pair of them, McKennie was better in the first half, and then clearly Javi had one of his inspirational halftime team talks and put them all to sleep as usual, and then a lot of them switched off in the second half, and McKennie was one of them. I think he was blowing, much like Rodrigo after 10 minutes of the second half. Rocco was just dreadful. I agree with everything Rocco said there. He can't pass a ball. I think he would be better in a 3. I think he needs the time and space. And when he's compressed in a 2 alongside McKennie, especially without Tyler Adams covering the yards for Rocco so he can stay still a little bit more and pick the ball up in space, I think Adams suits Rocco better. But it's, again, that's where Javi should come in and go, hang on, McKennie's clearly blowing now. He's been all right first half. He's clearly tired. Even if he doesn't bring McKennie off or Rocco off, create that midfield 3, put Forshaw in between them to just steady the ship and let Rocco and McKennie play a little higher and find spaces and let Forshaw just patrol him around in front of the front 4. But, I mean, I'm no football manager, and I can see that after 10 minutes of the second half that something needed to change. And Javi just stood there with his thumb up his backside. That's standard, isn't it? It's just crap. I hate it. Yeah. I hate it. I just hate it all.
Yeah.
Going back to work, it's better in work.
I hear it, mate. It's bad. You know, someone's just reminded me in the chat there. Lucy, I'll come to you. Like, Sinisterra just seems to be that clutch player. He seems to come up with a lot of moments and you know, it was a good goal yesterday. A great ball by Harrison, who I thought was improved as well yesterday. Obviously, he goes off with a knock. It'd be such a massive miss if he isn't going to, you know, because I don't know if he's just injury prone. Someone actually commented on my video, actually. I think it was a Feyenoord fan and said, like, Sinny's so good, but he does get injured a lot. And again, that's really something that should have been thought about when buying him, you know what I mean? But that's our recruitment policy. But if he's out, it's a massive miss, especially if Javi's not going to play bloody Nonto, you know? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Loose.
Yeah.
Luce, are you there?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He keeps pausing. I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. Talk to me about Sinisterra and how big of a miss it'd be.
Yeah, he's. I It's just a shame that he's made a Quavers, because when you get him on the ball, he just glides through players, and he's just a different level. I think, like you say, he comes up with these clutch moments that do great header to get up and to get the ball into the back of the net yesterday. Yeah, I think it'd be a huge miss, definitely. I still don't think we've seen the best of him yet either. I think there's still a lot more to come.
Yeah, we might have seen the best of him in a Leeds shirt anyway, because there's no way Sinistera's lighting it up in the EFL, that's for sure. I don't see that happening, you know. Welcome back, Keith Andrews, Don Goodman, you know, Dave Prutton and all that. It's going to be fun, isn't it? You know, it's going to. Oh, honestly, I can't deal. 46 games of utter tripe, being everyone's cup final. Probably, you know, and does anyone go along with this notion of let's go down and rebuild? Like,
No.
I hate that.
That
Yeah, exactly.
Well, didn't it?
I've never understood this, though.
The Championship is awful, but the Premier League is also shit. We just thought it was going to be this promised land of beautiful football, and for one season, for one glorious season, it was.
Who was giving us that, man. It was.
For one glorious season, it was perfect. What we couldn't get in the ground, which is the most Leeds thing ever. And now it's gone to complete shit. And every season, we're destined to just be scrapping for our lives, depressingly watching our team lose over and over again, where it inevitably comes down to the last day.
I massively disagree with that. If you get the right manager in,
it's possible, but
it doesn't have to be like that.
It's possible, but a lot of clubs have that for years. Like when before Burnley got relegated, that was just them every single year. They would just do the same thing.
1 year, bro. They got
Europe, but we nearly did 1 year, and then we're shit
on
again.
my memories, on my memories today, my Facebook memories, we just drew 0-0 with Man United. And I put on there, the European dream is still on. that's how much has changed in like three years, whatever it is. Because I think had we have not lost to Brighton, we would have finished in the top 7, I think. But we went to Brighton and pulled out a stinker because Graham Potter always beat us. But yeah, we drew 0-0 with Man United. And I'm just thinking now, wow, look at us now, you know, scrapping. But if we do by some amazing miracle, like stay up, then I think we will have a better season. I think the 49ers will spend money. I think we will get a better manager. You only have to look at, right, and I know they've got money, right, but look what Newcastle have done with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn. I've just said Eddie Hearn. Bloody hell, is he boxing?
No, I'm not having that.
Wow, Eddie Hearn, I wish. Maybe Eddie Hearn would do a better job. And then Aston Villa are in fifth.
They signed a good manager, didn't they?
Yeah,
got a good manager in, and they had a core of a few good players. But the thing is, with all these,
he's not even had a transfer window, bro. He's not even had a transfer window, and he's in the fifth.
With all these teams, they've got a good mix of experience and youth.
Exactly,
and we're just all youth, apart from our old Championship players. So, like, it's a mixture of the management. The management of the club, top level, who we've brought in, it's all come together to become an absolute shit show. And the quicker they all get out the door, the 49ers come in and throw a load of money at it, which is, I hate to say it, how you do well in modern football. Throw a load of money at it, get some decent players in, get a good manager in, get a properly good manager in. Like Unai Emery was winning Europa Leagues and managing PSG and stuff, and Villa have been ambitious and gone out and got him. So Leeds, surely, they're a similar sized club to Aston Villa. And so we should be ambitious. We were ambitious when we got Bielsa. We should be ambitious and go out and get a manager in the summer who really, if we go down, we talk about, like, obviously the 17 years we were down, but parachute payments weren't a thing then, were they? It's much more likely that somebody who's gone down will come back up straight away, and especially with the backing of the 49ers. We stayed down so long because of terrible ownership and all that sort of thing. So I'm not as terrified of going down as I would be 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
No, I'm not either,
But I don't want to go down. I don't want to. That does not mean I want to. I think it's easier to rebuild when you're in the Premier League than to rebuild in the Championship and come back.
Do you know what? Max sort of touched on it there, mate. And again, I always go back to, a business model is very similar to the model of a modern day football club, especially in the higher leagues, Championship, especially Premier League. Is if you haven't got the right people at the top of the club, putting the right plans in place, making the correct decisions on who they have to run their teams below them, whether it be backroom staff, whether it be coaching staff, whatever it may be, if the people at the top aren't putting the right plans in place and making the right decisions and putting the money in the right areas for investment, the whole thing's going to collapse. And this is why Leeds are finding themselves where they are. They got away with it for 3 years because they brought in the right man to sort the football out. And it just hid their constant bad decision making. He was an absolute just a wall for them, where we all went, everything's great. Rads has got his head screwed on. Orta's brought Bielsa in. It's all fabulous. Well, actually, it was probably all crumbling down above Bielsa. I've gone blurry. I'm that angry. I've been censored. And I don't know what's going on, but I'll keep talking. There I am. And it's been run like a National League side at the top. It really has. And now it's coming home to roost. And
we need more of a Brighton model, don't we?
Well, we certainly don't need a Leicester model. Rad's always bangs on about.
True. Oh, man. Radrizzani said it was impossible to get relegated, man. Oh, my fucking God.
Just repeat that word. Impossible.
I know, right? What a tit. I think that was the same week that Jesse was talking about us getting into Europe and having the best academy in England. What's happened? Honestly, man. This is what happens when you let charlatans take charge, man. Like, the amount of stick you'd get for calling him out because he returned us back to the Premier League. But like Chris has said, it was all down to one man, really. And we just hope to find another one.
All they had to do was put the money up. Radrizzani had to say, "Look, okay, we'll go out and Orta, we'll go and get Ben White on loan." Who else? A couple of other signings that weren't like. But Victor Orta was always complained about by Borough fans. They hate him. They think he was terrible, and he's made some good signings, but we said this the other week, didn't we? How a lot of them are pretty lucky. Nonto was a panic buy. Even Rafinha wasn't a target until the end of the transfer window when we were just like, oh, he's available, let's buy him. And it just happened to work out. His best signings, when you actually go through them, it's like, well, hold on a second. Most of these were accidents, and the ones that he did sign properly have been pretty bad.
He loves the Spanish reclamation project, because if you look at Borough that season, they signed Victor Valdez, who was the striker they bought as well. Negredo, you know what I mean? So, and he did nothing. I don't think he did anything either, you know what I mean? So yeah, he loves it.
We signed one British player from one British club, and that was Dan James. Like, what is that about? Yeah, there for the first team. Just embarrassing.
Do you know what? There's been this argument between Leeds fans around, and we'll never 100% know the truth, I don't think. But Bielsa didn't want any players, and all the rest of it. And if you look into it, if Bielsa knew football, right? I think everyone in the world can agree on that. Bielsa knew football, whether it be European football, South American football, whatever it may be. If these are the players that Victor Orta was dangling under his nose as potential signings, no wonder Bielsa's going.
No wonder he didn't want.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's all right.
Like, oh, do you want Adama Traore, the muscly Dan James?
And the mad thing is, go on, Rocco.
I was just going to say, and that's what's happened. Radrizzani has chose to trust Orta over Bielsa. Orta said these players were good enough. One of them was Rocker. Bielsa turned down Rocker in January. Phil Hay said that. So Orta's saying these players are good enough. Bielsa's saying they're not good enough. And Radrizzani chooses to side with Orta and sack Bielsa.
And Jesse was a yes man to any signings. Yeah. And he did obviously suggest some of the players from Salzburg, which haven't gone so well.
Look how that turned out. Fucking hell, man.
And then the ones that they brought in around him, he would probably have just said yes to any signings, really. I mean, Marc Roca had a bit of pedigree. He was highly rated when he was in Spain. He hadn't really had a look in, and it's another Spanish reclamation project, as Chris called it. I think it was Chris who said that. It was a Joe. Oh, sorry, Joe.
You can have it, Chris. You can have it, Chris. Don't worry.
But yeah, it's another one where somebody whose career's gone off the boil, and they're like, right, let's see if we can have a bit of a renaissance at Leeds. But you can't afford to do that with every signing because you're trying to stay up in the Premier League. You need to have some players where you're going to go, do you know what? We're going to have to play full whack for this player because he's in the prime of his career, and plop him straight into that team. And he'll help us for now, not for a couple of years when he gets his boots on the right feet again. It's.
Do you know what as well, Max? You bang on because I've realised now. You know, I'd become a little bit of a football snob, but I look now and think we should have been in for Ben Mee. We should have been in for James Tarkowski. We should have been in for Nathan Collins at Burnley. These sort of players, but I myself was like, I don't want them. But now I look and think we would kill for one of them.
I've come around to the complete same conclusion as what you've said there. Where you look at it and you think, oh no, we had Bielsa. We don't play like that.
Yeah, we're above that. Yeah.
We don't need Brexit defenders who just put it into row Z every time they touch it. But when you actually look at the recruitment in the past of the Premier League teams, they look at the 3 teams that have gone down and they say, okay, who are the best players from those teams? Because when you actually look at it, none of those players ever get signed by foreign teams. They never go abroad. It's always better teams in the Premier League who go, do you know what? He was pretty tasty playing for them. I'll have him. I'll have him. I'll have him. Everton saying, oh, do you know what? James Tarkowski, very good defender. Let's bring him in. Solidify things at the back. Or if Southampton go down, you can guarantee that a top 8 club will be looking at James Ward-Prowse and saying, we'll have him. Bella Kotchap, all those good players that they've got in those teams. They're the players that you need to be looking at. And I hadn't really thought about that. I think it was you, Chris, wasn't it, about said that, well, the one British player we signed was Dan James.
Rocco.
Was it? I think it's because you
Are you on Chris tonight or what, man? What's going on here?
He was the last person that was
talking. Say something and be like that. Oh, I think that was Chris, wasn't it?
It's because he was the last person that was talking, and I can't remember anything before that. But yeah, the one British player we signed being Dan James. Why haven't we tried to sign anybody from the Championship? Well, we've not tried to sign anybody from the Championship, anybody who got relegated from the Premier League. We've had a couple of seasons to do that now. And I can't see why we didn't do that.
Do you know what? As Orta modelled his whole recruitment policy on the one Spanish reclamation project that we got right, which wasn't even his signing, it was Gary Monk's in Pablo Hernandez, and Victor's gone, oh, that worked. Let's do more of that. It's just mental, isn't it?
Oh, Rodrigo, Diego Llorente, Junior Firpo. Just plucking them all out of the Spanish reclamation tree.
I reckon he's got one on his wall, mate. I reckon he's got a big tree on his wall and just all these players hanging off it.
He's got one of those like detective boards with all the strings attaching to different players. Oh, he's had a shit year here. He's had a shit year here. They could work well together.
That's so true. So true. Right, folks, we're coming up to 7. I'd love to stay and chat forever, but I know people have got other things they need to do, and I myself will be back live probably about 7:20 because there's some big games tonight. Whether or not these will affect Leeds United, but of course Nottingham Forest play Brighton. Praying for a Brighton win, so we'll be covering that. And of course, there's a massive game in Man City versus Arsenal, which, you know, if you like football, you might as well watch it because that will be something good to watch, not like what we've been watching over the last few weeks. But listen, I want you to go on over and subscribe to Kate at Leeds Birds Rants. Kate, what you on now?
Nearly, what am I on? Let me have a quick look. A check. 1725. Looking for the 2000. Yeah. Yes,
getting so close to 2K. So if you haven't already gone over, we've had big numbers tonight, over 700. So thank you all so much. Rocco over at the Leeds That podcast. The link is in the description. Rocco, have you done your post match yet? I've not seen it pop up in my feed, but I haven't been on for a bit. So
yeah, this morning. I think it's out now. My voice was probably a little bit better than it is now. It's getting worse and worse.
Great. Lucy, I mean, are you still on? Do they still produce right in the Gary Kellys?
we post stuff on Twitter and Instagram. We did start a podcast, but we've just written it off for this season. But yeah, if anyone's in the Harrogate area, I cover Harrogate. So
there you go, man.
Harrogate, great area.
So exciting in Harrogate.
Future Leeds United journalist Lucy Chappell. Then let's say that she's going to promote from Harrogate across to Leeds. Yeah. So thank you for coming, Lucy. Max, Leeds lately. What's going down? What are you on?
Not much on depression medication for Leeds United at the moment. No. Yeah, I've been around the 5. I'm just over 5K. That was ages ago now, and I haven't even hit 5.1 yet because I've been so despondent with Leeds that the only thing I've been doing is doing live streams of the games because I've just been like, I don't want to sit there and talk about Leeds when it's like I do when it's this because I get to talk it out with you guys and it's like a therapy session. But on my own channel, I've just been doing little depressing videos like, will we stay up? But yes, hopefully, if we do stay up, there'll be so much more transfer content and an exciting new era in the summer.
Yeah, we'll see. And Chris, I mean,
yes,
just on here now, aren't you, bud?
I will be back on All These TV at some point.
Good.
I haven't left forever. I haven't left. It's just at the minute, similar to Max, really, I can't face sitting on a live post-match at the end of these games on my own because I'm liable to say something that will get me in a lot of hot water in the immediate aftermath of these games. And I can't bring myself to do it. It's highly depressing. Whereas we do these like 24 hours or so later, and I've had a chance to at least share some of Max's pills, which tends to bring you down a level. Lovely. I've stood on the edge of a cliff, had a look, decided not to bother, and thought, no, I'll have one more game. So I will be back. The gang are over there still doing good stuff as well. I've seen Jack doing plenty of post matches.
I watched that today. It was really good. I watched it today.
He's fuming, and can't blame him. So yeah, I will be back. So go over and subscribe to the lunatics over there. We will keep pushing content out, as depressing as it is at the minute.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you do that. I watched Jack's post-match today and it was really good. And I just want to remind you, I must have got my timings wrong, folks. There is still 27 minutes left on this. Louis Sinistera signed shirts, 5 tickets available, £9.95. Get involved, please. Check them out. Football prizes. The link is in the description. We will thank you all for watching. I'll be back live soon, obviously, watching tonight's game. If you want to join me, please do. And if not, then we'll see you on Monday after we've beaten Bournemouth. See you later.